I am bowing out of the 5 a.m. club. We're going to be preparing for developmental edits for my YA Rivals to Lovers novel. I've told the story to myself. Now, how can we flesh it out and really hit all those beats and make that beautiful story arc for other people? Wait, my jaw is dropping. Writers, I am bowing out of the 5 a.m. club. I am not a 5 a.m. writer anymore. There have been many days in these past few weeks where I have not written at all, but it is for a very good reason. Toasty, come. This is Toasty. Oh, thank you. I know, we're teething hard, aren't we? Here, let me get you a bone. Do you want a different one? Okay. Toasty is a 3-month-old mixed breed rescue puppy that I got to take home just about 2 weeks ago now. And I am so fortunate that I get to be her second chance. She is the sweetest, smartest, most intelligent little puppy, and it's been so exciting. Have I been living on coffee? Sure, but it has been a whirlwind, but in the best way for sure. It is so exciting to get to show her around and to show her what it is to just have a great home and be a good pup and enjoy her life and go outside and do all these wonderful things with her. She is truly the best, and I'm just so excited to have her here as a part of our family. It is currently Friday morning. I am trying to lock in because my schedule has been all over the place. I'm finally figuring out a new routine with Toasty, getting into the kind of way that things go. I've been starting to write again, and I do have a to-do list that is piling up, so I'm trying to lock in and get some things knocked out of the way for the weekend so that we can work on getting ready for developmental edits. But before we dive in further to that, in case we haven't met yet, hi, hello, my name is Taylor Alexander. I am an aspiring screenwriter, playwright, and novelist. I am currently towards the end of my historical fiction novel first draft project Cartomancy, and in this vlog we're going to be preparing for developmental edits for my YA Rivals to Lovers novel. Actually, I think it's Enemies to Lovers. I'm always going to mess that up. I finished drafting this novel last summer in 2025, and it was the novel that I drafted the fastest, the first draft that is. I started the day before Valentine's Day, what I thought was gonna be a short story, and I ended up writing a full novel, and I ended up really liking it, and now I'm actually going to do proper edits on a book, finally. I left the book be for a bit while I worked on Project Cartomancy to try and clear my head of the story, and then I did a full read through, and then it sat again. Then Toasty moved into our home, and now I think is a good time to start these developmental edits. Well, to start preparing for them. I've been watching a ton of pre-revision content. I have to give a major shout out to Hannah Grace Fletcher. She has some great pre-revision videos that I've been watching. Anna New is in the middle of revising what she's hoping her debut novel will be. So I've been watching all these authortube videos, trying to get inspired and just getting mentally prepared to enter into this. Essentially, I don't have a full plan for how this is going to go, but I have pages of notes that I took during my first read through. We need to go through those and identify our big target problems. We also need to review our character sheets. All my planning sheets I want to go through and review and see if there's anything that I can update, because as much as I did actually try and plan this novel, I did that. I tried to plan a novel. Now I can't stop with the planning. I was a pantser and then I fell in love with planning. Things still changed throughout this draft. Things came to me were new. I learned things about these characters and about the way that they function, and so I want to update and flesh out my character sheets a bit more, and I need to add some new ones because oh my gosh, did I add some characters during this. They weren't as big in terms of their role or their significance, but they definitely need some character sheets. They do, because I was losing track of names. I also have a few different TV show and movie kind of pop cultural things going on in this book, and I want to make my own. I think it would be fun to make original pop cultural references in this book rather than relying on things that are already out there. I think it would be really exciting and fun to invent my own, so I want to do that brainstorming this weekend because that has been weighing down on me for so long. Then hopefully after that, and maybe a couple other little checklisty things, we should be able to enter into our second read through of this novel and begin the developmental editing phase. So without further ado, I'm going to try and lock back into my non-novel writing checklist items for the weekend, for Friday, so I don't have to do them over the weekend. And then we will be able to begin our developmental edit preparations. Welcome to the writing vlog. Locking in is going okay. I got a couple things done, but now I need to pause because this is a very important moment for me. Dunkin' Donuts put out the spring menu and it's all banana themed, and I'm so excited because I love everything banana. I had bananas in my cereal this morning, so obviously I have to try banana coffee, and so I got a shot of the banana syrup with some oat milk and a decaf latte. This is such a big moment. I'm hoping it doesn't taste like runts or like an artificial banana, but I feel like that's what it's gonna be. I don't think they added it. Wait, I don't think it's in there. I think this is just coffee with oat milk. I've been waiting so long for this. It may not have had banana syrup, but coffee is coffee, and I got 3 things off my checklist. 3 things. I only have one worky kind of thing left. I think I'm gonna try and work out now. My workout schedule has been a mess the past couple weeks, but that's okay. I'm gonna try and work out now. I'm figuring it out, and then I'll catch you after that. It's the evening time. It's 6 o'clock on this Friday, and Toasty is taking a nap. And I did most of my schoolwork stuff for the day. I did all of it, actually. I did. I'm very excited about that. Big hooray. And now the other little worky thing that I have to do is I've been drafting a cover letter for a thing. And I've been working really hard on it, and I really want to finish it because this is day 3 of drafting, just the first draft. Let's knock this out of the park and get it ready for rounds and rounds of revisions because I'm such an overthinker that way. And that's the plan. Then we can prepare to revise a novel because that's what we're here for anyways. Okay. Every morning looks a little bit different these days, so you'll have to excuse the production value, but here we are back and finally ready to work on our preparations to do our developmental edits on the Enemies to Lovers YA romance project. I'm getting the hang of it now. In case you haven't already caught on, I did not have the chance to do any developmental preparations last night. I ended up finishing the draft of the cover letter, and then that was kind of the end of it. And now I am ready though, and I kind of am glad that I didn't end up doing anything, because I'd like to make that list of issues last so that I'm ready to go into the developmental edits. Here is our massive first draft binder. The draft is about 400 pages long. 430? It's longer than that. The draft is about 430 pages long at the moment. The first thing that I want to do is go through and review my character sheets, just kind of ease back into the world, because it's been about a month since I finished my first read through. I'm gonna put on the playlist. I'm going to get back into the vibes in the realm of this world and these characters, and make some new character sheets for all the people that I met throughout the drafting process that I did not include in my initial planning. Here we go. Update time, I just came in from a little walk outside, and I mostly finished the first character sheet. This is a brand new character sheet for not one of my main characters, but a very big side character. This has already been such a big help in the process. When we're looking at developmental edits, of course, we're looking for things to say, okay, I've told the story to myself. Now, how can we flesh it out and really hit all those beats and make that beautiful story arc for other people? And so the reason that I'm going back through these character sheets is to really, A, make note of these characters, as I said, that I didn't have in my initial planning or didn't really have fleshed out. And B, I'm going to be going through the initial character sheets and building these with the thought of motivations in mind. What are these characters' backstories? How does that motivate their actions? And essentially, what are their dreams, goals, desires, and fears? And how do those relate to and motivate the actions in the stories? Because we want our characters to be very proactive in driving the story with their wants and needs. And that's exactly what I'm looking to flesh out with these character sheets. I've already learned so much about this side character just by doing his sheet and by really digging into what has motivated him to become the person that I built him to be in the story. And I think it's honestly really going to help the character arc for him and for one of my protagonists. So now that we've checked in, I'm gonna wrap up that character sheet. I'm just doing some general relational notes. When I do these character sheets, I use an outline from Abby Emmons from one of her story planning kits. They're the sheets that I've taken to using. I started them with this project and I've carried them through other projects like cartomancy. And I find that they're really helpful because they talk about not only motivation and thoughts and things like that, but also random things like, you know, an object that the character really likes, and all those little nitty-gritty backstory things that help you to understand that character as a person without being a sheet of 500 things. Because as much as I love those random character building exercises that are super thorough, it's sometimes really hard for me to sit there and say, okay, what's their favorite color? And in the 4th grade, what was their favorite cafeteria food? Vlog. My mom just bought me a strawberry matcha, and fun fact, this is the drink of the book. So there's no better time to have this. That's so good. That's so good. Rome was not built in a day, but these character sheets could be going a little bit quicker. I only got through not even half of the second one. It's now 1:30. I did have some outdoor time with Toasty and we played and I had lunch. I did have to do a couple chores too, but still, it's 1:30. I started this at like 9, I think, and I did one character sheet and like a little tiny smidget of another. So it's time to lock in. I've got the playlist on. Toasty's taking a little snooze. My goal, I think right now, is to do 3 in the next 30 minutes because the characters, the substantiality of their role is getting smaller and smaller as I go through these sheets. Wait, my jaw is dropping. I didn't even finish the first one. I have 3 more spots that I have to fill out. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right, we've got to get to it. One down plus the end of the first one that I hadn't finished, and so technically 2, but I still want to do 2 more in this little working session here. I'm starting to find that there's some really interesting points of conflict between some of these side characters, and that it kind of impacts the way that one of my main characters perceives the world, because he has all these different viewpoints coming from different people that he works with, and they clash. How is that going to impact him? How is that going to impact some of the conflict in the book? So once again, these character sheets are making a bigger impact than I thought they would. I'm so excited now about what they're doing. So 2 down. I don't even know how many to go, but let's just knock a couple more out. I did it. I did 3 character sheets. It took me exactly an hour. It's 2:28 right now. And one of them I was actually shocked that I hadn't done, because there's another supporting character who's basically such a supporter that he's a main character, and I didn't have a character sheet for him. So I did really have a lot of fun making that because I do adore him. I did another one after that, and the one before that, and then finished up the other one before that that I had forgotten that I didn't finish. So now I need to take a break because I am getting screen fatigued and getting wiped out on this. But the other characters are increasingly minor characters, thankfully. Like this last one that I did, some of the relationship notes I just decided to cut out because it's more their general presence that matters than tracking very specific relationship arcs with some of the characters that they interact with. So I'm gonna take a break, and then hopefully we can knock out the rest of these character sheets. When Hannah Grace Fletcher said that these take a long time, I was like, oh no, you know, mine will be easy. They're really minor characters. Nope, it takes a long time. This is work, but it has me so excited about this book again. This literally took me a full day, but the character sheets are officially done. I went through the old ones, updated some things, added some things, made a bunch of new ones, and I'm super excited about where we're at now with these characters. And the next thing is gonna be developing some of these TV shows and pop culture things that I want in the world to be original. It has been a day. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's daylight saving times for context. So I slept until 7, which I literally don't remember the last time I did that. I have been enjoying time outside, I will say, with Toasty. because it has been the most ridiculously cold winter ever, and even though I love the cold, it is now March. So I am finally happy that it is a bit of a spring preview out here. The only issue is that I haven't worked at all on the developmental edit planning today. So I'm gonna try and lock in now for a bit and work on some of this pop culture world building. I did some initial notes last night, and I think I have a general concept for some of the stuff, but the big thing that ties the whole book together, I still have to figure out. Yeah, it's all tied together by one of these fictional pop culture pieces. So it's time to get to work for the first time today. Let's go. I was a little emo with the time change, but now I'm really happy because it's almost 5:30 and it's so bright out and it's warm. It's warm and it's bright, and I have a burst of energy. I was struggling. So I had a little afternoon caffeine, but the energy difference, just the feeling of joy of realizing that it's almost 5:30 and then it's nice and bright out like this. That officially concludes this writing vlog. Doing all these developmental edit preparations helped me more than I could ever expect. The hardest part of this was definitely getting started, as it was with even reading the first draft, because I felt that I'm supposed to take time, and then I let that time stretch out. And then it took me a couple months to read the first draft, but I am so excited now to be getting started officially on developmental edits. The big things that I want to tackle, which I know I talked about that list during this second draft, which is so weird for me to say because this is the first time that I will actually be properly editing and revising something that I have written, a novel of this length, I should say. And the big things that I want to focus on are going to be the general story arc and making sure that it's driven by character motivation. I want to bring up the tensions, and I want to focus on having action forward dialogue and descriptions and making everything feel very lived in. I had a lot of backstory that I was writing out for myself in some of these chapters. I have a chapter that's split into chapter 4A and chapter 4B because 4B is just pages of backstory on one of the characters. But that's the beauty of the first draft, is that you really are telling the story to yourself. I'm debating in this draft adding a brand new character. I can't decide what I want to do with that yet or how exactly it would motivate the story, but it feels at this point somewhat necessary. But that's a problem for later. Right now, I want to focus on each paragraph having a purpose, each chapter having a purpose. I want to track the arc, see what I ended up doing, and very intentionally plot it out to kind of see the logic behind it and meld that with the emotion of these characters. I am so excited to bring you along on this journey. I truly hope that you enjoyed this writing vlog, and if you're interested in writing, reading, theater, television commentary, I'm a bit of a nerd if you couldn't tell. Please stick around for more videos. I would love to have you here. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment down below, tell me if you've ever done developmental edits or what your editing process is. And of course, if you want to stay around, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know the drill. All right, thanks for watching.